a lost episode of the amazing world of Gumball that was never on TV. The episode starts like any other. Morning at the Watterson house. Gumball walks into the kitchen, full of excitement. "I have a new friend. His name is Elric." Darwin looks confused. He hasn't seen anyone new at school. "Elric? Who's that?" "He came from the wall," Gumball replies casually. Darwin laughs it off. Probably just another imaginary friend, but day by day, Gumball talks to Elric more and more, like he's real. At first, it seems harmless, but then, strange things begin happening. Mirrors in the house start to distort, especially near Gumball. Strange notes appear in his notebooks, written in jagged, unfamiliar handwriting. "Let him stay." In old family photos, someone else appears, a blurry, tall figure with long arms and no face. Every time, a little closer. Darwin tries to talk to him. "You're acting weird. Who is Elric, really?" Gumball looks cold, distant. He whispers, "You're just jealous. He showed me the real Elmore, not the one you see." From that point on, everything changes. The colors of the show begin to fade. Music disappears. Background characters loop their actions. One blink, one step, again and again. The world feels frozen. Gumball draws Elric, a tall silhouette with a static-covered face, like a broken TV screen. He's almost ready. Soon, he'll get to stay forever. That night, Darwin wakes up. Gumball is standing in front of the wall, whispering, "You can come out. I'll let you out." The wall begins to shake. Cracks spread across it. A thick black liquid oozes through. Something is crawling out. Darwin screams. The light flicks on, and everything vanishes. Empty room, except for one thing written on the wall. "You should have let me stay." The next morning, Gumball is smiling again, like nothing ever happened. Darwin just watches him silently. The camera slowly zooms out. In the reflection of the microwave, there he is, Elric, standing behind Gumball. And slowly, he turns his head toward the viewer. A lost horror episode of the amazing world of Gumball 1 that never aired on TV. The episode began with Gumball waking up in his room. He looked exhausted, and his movements were slow, as if he were still dreaming. The camera lingered on his face for an uncomfortably long time. He turned his head toward Darwin, who was standing by the window, completely silent. His eyes were wide open, and he didn't even blink. There was no sound, no dialogue, no background noise. Gumball got up and stepped into the hallway. In the kitchen sat the whole family, Mom, Dad, and Anais, all in their usual places. But none of them moved. They looked frozen, like wax figures. The only thing still alive in the house was the television. On the screen, static and harsh noise, flashing rapidly between disturbing images, pieces of flesh, disembodied mouths, distorted sentences. Gumball tried to scream, "Hey, what's going on?" But no sound came from his mouth, just a wide, silent gasp. He ran outside, and that's when things truly felt wrong. All of Elmore had stopped. People were frozen. Cars halted mid-intersection. Even birds were suspended in the sky. The air felt thick, like the world itself was holding its breath. And then, a sound. Just one. Something was breathing. Slowly. Heavily. Somewhere close. Gumball turned around, and behind him stood a tall figure, barely distinguishable from the background. It wore a plain white mask without a face. It didn't move, didn't speak. It just stood there. Gumball ran, but the streets of Elmore began to twist and distort. The houses stretched upward, the sky turned dark, the streetlights flickered. Then, in the sky, a massive white eye opened. On screen, distorted text appeared. "You woke it. Go back." Gumball made it home. He slammed the door behind him, panting. He climbed the stairs to his room and froze. There, on his bed, sat himself. Another Gumball, identical but with completely blank white eyes. His smile was unnaturally wide. They stared at each other in silence. Then the second Gumball leaned forward and whispered, "You weren't supposed to wake up. Now this is your world too." The lights cut out instantly. The final frame was Gumball's face, horribly distorted. And then, total darkness. At the very end, over a black screen, distorted voices from old episodes could be heard. "Let's go, Darwin. It's just a game." Followed by a child's laughter that slowly turned into a scream. For a split second, a family photo of the Wattersons appeared, but all their eyes were empty black voids. The image seemed to burn like an old photograph left in the sun. Then a single phrase replaced it. "This episode is no longer broadcast." A lost horror episode of The Amazing World of Gumball 1 that never aired on. Gumball jokes that it's ancient junk, but still helps hook it up to the TV. They press play. The screen shows what looks like a normal home video. The Watterson family doing regular things. Mom cooking, Dad dozing off on the couch, Anais writing something. But Darwin notices something strange. In the background, through the window, a figure. Tall, thin, still. A silhouette. At first it's barely noticeable, but with every scene it gets closer. In the yard, then at the window, then inside the room. And no one reacts. Gumball fast forwards and the tape glitches. The image changes. Now it's footage from under Gumball's bed, the camera aimed at him sleeping. Minutes pass in silence, just breathing. Then Gumball slowly gets up, like he's sleepwalking, and leaves the room. The camera stays behind, recording the empty bed. Darwin hits stop. Nothing happens. The player won't respond. Suddenly, the screen changes again. Now it's showing a live feed. It's their living room. Right now. Gumball and Darwin are standing in front of the TV, watching themselves on screen. "Why are we on the TV?" Gumball whispers. "Look, behind you," Darwin replies. On the screen, standing behind Gumball, is that figure, taller than ever. Its head is now a video camera, humming, shifting slightly, aimed at them. They turn around in real life. Nothing there. But the figure remains on the screen. Then the image begins to glitch. Distorted whispers layer over one another. "He's watching. You weren't supposed to see this. He's already inside." Suddenly, Gumball's face appears, but it's not really him. His skin is pale, his eyes fully white. He stares straight into the viewer, tilts his head, and speaks. "You watched for too long." The screen cuts to black. Silence. Then the tape plays again. We see the cassette in someone's hands. A black marker writes slowly on the label. "Tape number 1, you're next." The image burns like the tape is disintegrating from inside. Everything fades to darkness. Then, laughter. Glitched, broken, childlike laughter. And finally, a scream. Nothing else. This episode never aired. It's not in any database, but if you ever find a tape with no label and a deep scratch on the side, don't play it. He already knows you're here.